Okay. So we will set them up.
We'll have them. Where did you get, Rodney, where did you get your line placed?
You mean who installed it?
Yeah.
Loveless.
At Loveless? Okay. Do you get any workup at Renal Med, called Renal Med?
No.
No? Okay, I talked to Dr. Romero, and he said that we'll need to get the line changed. So he says don't start you up again, and that to send you out to get it worked on. So I was wanting to know who works with your catheter, who placed it. Do you know the doctor name by any chance?
You guys supposed to have all that information in my file.
Okay, I haven't looked in there. We'll just cap this off again. Nothing's getting flushed in. So be careful with your fluid intake. I'm not sure when they can get you in. I'll see where I'm going to end up sending you, or and we have a current telephone on file for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, they need to get. Where's Celeste? Get Celeste in here now and get Alex in here now. Now.
Celeste is here. Alex is not here, but am I gonna have you?
And I want Dr. Romero in here.
Okay, I'm not sure where he's at, but most
Well,
certainly.
you just talked to him on the phone, so get him in here.
I did, but I don't know where he was at. But I'll let him know that you want to talk to him. Well, certainly, of course. I'll find out where he's at.
Yes, but if you have problems.
Hey, Mr. Rodney, Miss Celeste's gonna be right with you, okay?
Okay, and what is that nurse's name right there?
Luce.
Luce? Louis?
L-U-Z. Luce.
Luce Marcus.
Sorry about what happened.
No, that's not your fault.
Celeste is going to come out and talk to you, but then Dr. Romero says he's not coming back here until like at 1:30. He says you can wait.
Well, that just shows that they don't care.
You can wait here.
No,
You can wait here in this, but he did say that he already made the referral to Renal Med. So I just need to get the address, and what will happen is that they will call you. They'll look for a spot where they can, put you in.
And how soon is this spot?
It could be tomorrow, or it could be today, or tomorrow, or I'm not sure how busy they are, or how they usually move things around to make it work, because they know that it's important.
And where are they located?
And it's on Masthead, but I was going to give you the correct address
Here in Albuquerque?
and the phone number.
They're here in Albuquerque?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. But Celeste will come out and talk to you. But you can stay, Rodney, until Dr. Romero comes. I would, if you want to talk to him. That way you can get some answers.
I don't know, because you know what? Doctor, you got my phone number. It just goes to show that he don't give a shit. Because he could have called me on my fucking phone and spoke to me personally. That is the kind of care that a doctor is supposed to provide.
But he did make the call to Renal Med to get things, so they can get you in there. And that was, and I'm not defending him, but that was fast. I was really surprised that he already called Renal Med.
You know what? You guys keep right on with this. I'm surprised. That was really fast. You know what? You say that to me as though that's supposed to mean something. You say that to me as though, what does that say for the rest of the patients that didn't get that type of treatment? You say that as if that's supposed to mean something that's supposed to speak highly of you guys. The more you say that to me, the more it proves that people don't get the proper care at Fresenius.
We treat everyone the same.
No, you don't.
We would do
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I don't know what to say, Ronnie.
You tried to inject a blood clot back into me. You sat there and plugged up the saline and tried to inject a fucking blood clot back into me.
The saline was going in.
Ma'am, just get away from me.
Okay.
Get away from me.
Hey, Ronnie.
Hi.
What's going on?
You don't know?
Well, I was in a meeting. I just got off well, I'm still in the meeting, but they came back and said for me to come and talk to you.
First of all,
I'm sorry.
that nurse, my line they've had issues with the machine clotting.
Mm-hmm.
When I came in this afternoon, she went to hook me up. I had issues with her before.
Okay. Is that Luz or
Luz.
Audrey? Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
First time I had issues with Luz was, I think it was this past Thursday. Alright? I spoke to her about the irritation from the sutures.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? She wanted to just pretty much just blow me off, like my concerns weren't even valid. So I think I spoke to Audrey. Audrey came over, she looked at it, she agreed, she said, look, it's been over a month, we can take them out.
Do you want me to, let's go back there so I can get paper so I can write this all down. Because I'm not going to remember. Is that okay?
No,
No, I want to make sure that I have this written down right. For you.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Okay.
I didn't know what was going on. I know I was in a meeting with transplant. We're talking to transplant about all the patients. And that's where I've been. It's been a crazy, crazy day. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is get... Hey, I'm going to come in here. Is that okay? With Mr. Rodney. If you want to step out. Are you in a meeting? No. If you want to step out, please. Thank you. So this started on Thursday last week.
Yeah.
No, you're good. No, you're good. My office is open.
Okay.
And this was with Luz. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I said, on Thursday when I came in, I spoke to her about the irritation from the sutures, where they had sutured a catheter.
Yeah.
And because there was swelling,
Okay.
at the side of the sutures. And so I told her, I said, look, can we take this out? Because it's starting to be sore and it's swollen.
Okay.
And that's a sign of infection. Okay. And she just blew me off like my concerns weren't valid. Mm-hmm. So after that, I asked to speak to, I think it was Audrey.
Okay.
Audrey came over, she looked at it, she agreed. She said that, hey, it's been more than a month.
Mm-hmm.
We can take them out if you like. And I told her, yes, please take them out. She went to take them out, not all of them. She was very busy that day.
Mm-hmm.
That nurse, Luce, came back over trying to take some of them out. She claimed she was unsuccessful at that time. And then when I returned Saturday, I believe, I can't remember, I think it may have been Audrey who took the remaining sutures out.
Audrey or Leslie? Because I know both of them tried, right? Leslie?
Which one is Leslie?
The nurse practitioner. Was it Leslie? I thought she said she was good, or she okayed it. She may have okayed it.
She may have okayed it.
Yeah, okay. So Audrey took the rest of them out on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it was Audrey who took them out. And so that's what happened on Saturday. So I come back in today, and Luz, she appeared friendly when I came in, but when they started having trouble on the machine with my lines, she said that, matter of fact, when she was prepping me to connect me to the machine, there was a visible clot that came out of the blue line.
Okay.
Okay. She then proceeded, she felt that all the clot had came out, and so she proceeded to connect me to the machine. Probably about 40 minutes in, the machine just stopped.
Okay.
The lines were clotted. Wendy tried multiple times to get it started. She was unsuccessful. That's when Luz came back over, trying to figure out what was going on. And she checked the lines. She checked the red line. Everything was flowing like it should. When she checked the blue line, it was clogged. It was collapsing when she tried to draw anything out. A couple times she did draw something out into a tube of saline. And when she did, and she disconnected the tube of saline, there was a clot at the end. She proceeded to try to inject the rest of the blood, the impartial clot that was in the line, back into me. And I told her, no, stop, and I didn't want her to touch me anymore. That's when she claimed that she tried to get me to go along with some medication that she wanted to inject into the line. But at that point, she had already injected a partial clot back in the line. And I told her, I don't know I haven't had enough time to find out any information about this medicine.
Does Activase
sound
correct? Okay, yes. Okay.
And I told her I didn't have enough time to do my own research about it. So I didn't feel comfortable. All right. That's when she proceeded to claim that she was going to get on the phone because I asked to speak with Alex, I asked to speak with you, and I asked to speak with Dr. Romero.
He is here today. He's just not here right now.
Yes,
he's running around.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
She claimed that she got on the phone and spoke with him, and she claimed that that he would be back here at about 1:30.
Yeah. Okay. So here in a few.
Yeah. Because I had asked to speak to you and Alex as well, and she said that Alex wasn't here.
And I do apologize. I was in the transplant meeting, and so I was going to see you after. And then when Kristen came, I was like, okay, let me go see.
No, Celeste, I want you to understand, I'm not upset with you, okay? Yeah. You've always been friendly, and from what I've seen and what I've known, you kept your word about everything that you said you were going to do. You did it. It's just that other people here at the clinic, okay? I have to say, Alex, even Dr. Romero, and of course that nurse, and also I forget his name. He's the guy that's over Alex. Lester. It's not a friendly environment. It's a toxic environment. In my opinion, it's racially discriminative. And I've had my fill of it. This is an emergency. I've done a weekend. This is my longest off period, and now I can't even have my first treatment of the week.
Exactly.
Because of this. And Dr. Romero says, hey, you can sit there and wait another 40 minutes before I can get here to talk to you when you all have my file. You have a list of my doctors. You have my phone number. If I was important to Dr. Romero, he would have called my phone.
And said, hey, what's going on here?
But he didn't do that. He didn't offer to do that. that shows I am of no concern to them. I don't feel safe. I feel that my life is threatened. And to be quite honest with you, I feel like that was an attempt on my life. And I've been feeling like this was going on for a long time. Because when I arrived in New Mexico a year ago, within the first month, I wound up in the ER. UNM has had all my information from Atlanta when I arrived, ever since late July of 2020. I should have been connected with renal medicine. I should have been connected with cardiologists. I should have had a primary care that was keeping in touch with me at least bi-weekly.
Right.
Okay?
And I agree with that on that part, definitely. With RMA, you should have had these resources given to you.
Right.
From the beginning. If they knew what was going on in Atlanta, then they knew, hey, this person needs this kind of care. Right. So I agree with you on that.
When I left Atlanta, it was probably about 4 days before I went to leave Atlanta. I was on the metro, and I'm getting a phone call from the kidney doctor that saw me in the ER. And he says, after everything, he says, I think we need to look at getting you in and getting you set up for dialysis. Now, I don't know anything about that. To me, it sounded like he was speaking of getting me set for vein mapping. As though he didn't want to go through the step of installing the catheter. But we didn't have a chance to really get in depth with the conversation because the pandemic was going on and I was on the metro, and you can imagine it's quite loud. So that was my last interaction with a physician before I came to New Mexico.
Right.
And then the ER situation. And they clearly told me that they had talked with the doctors back in Atlanta. So they had all this information. They just didn't get me connected with any of this.
And you were right. Sometimes if you're followed by a nephrologist, say you were admitted to RMA, they could have put the fistula in you before and going, okay, we know dialysis is going to be part of your life in the near future. Let's get this going so you don't have to go through this. Right. So that is correct. Right. They do that.
Right. So, when you look at all the failures, people lie, numbers don't lie. There's a saying in law school, and that is falsus in uno, falsus in omnibus. That means false in one thing, false in everything. These failures are not a coincidence. There's too many of them, and they're consistent.
I'm sorry that you had to go through all this. And I know it wasn't mine. I didn't know you at the time. Right. But that you had to go through this. Your son has to go through this and all of that. This could have, if provided the correct providers back then, could have prevented that long hospitalization at Loveless. It could have prevented certain things. So I want to say my sincerity and apology. Well, and I know it wasn't me, but I feel for you.
There are some good people here, and unfortunately, you guys wind up, in the bad spot. And it's irritating because you're not the ones that should be apologizing.
I know.
And in this situation, I'll be quite honest with you. I feel that after I got hurt on my job, this was back in July of 2020. I feel that because it's not a coincidence that the lady at the insurance company for the company I work for Tempur-pedic, she was very rude and nasty from the very beginning. And basically acted as though she didn't want to speak to me even when I tried to call her. And things seemed to change for about a week. And that was when I wound up in the hospital in the ER. I think that's when the insurance company, workers' comp insurance company, figured out that I had a number of health issues. I don't think it's a coincidence that they didn't want to give me all these doctors just all of a sudden don't want to treat me. Right. When I was at UNM, I had developed an ear infection. And I also supposedly have stenosis of the brain, which I was diagnosed with that in Atlanta. But during the pandemic, during the shutdown, I had developed an ear infection. I went to UNM. I'm refused antibiotics, considering everything. Shut down, ear infection, proximity to the brain. Right. It's common sense. I'm asking, darn near begging for antibiotics. They threatened to call security and the police on me, as though I'm doing something by asking for biotics to speak with the doctor. The doctor then prescribes me an antibiotic that was insufficient. Thankfully, over the period of about 4 months later, it finally went away. But I feel that the insurance company is working with my attorneys, sharing my medical information, and this is all to kill me so that they don't have to pay the claims. That's exactly what I feel this is. I feel it's racial discrimination to kill me in order to keep from paying the claims. I feel it's Gallagher Bassett. I feel that it is my attorney. I had my workers' comp benefits. This attorney that I have now, I never got any treatment. That's why it's so difficult for me to sit in a chair. It's not a personal opinion like, oh, I just hate sitting here. If I'm not being bratty or childish, I'm in serious pain. Right. Okay. And, the workers' comp insurance company, they didn't even want to pay for me to see the doctor. They first sent me to Concentra. Okay, I went and did the drug test. No problem, I don't do that stuff. So after that, the lady gives me a shot. This was my next ER visit at UNM. She claims it's a shot for pain. Okay, I didn't make it from here to your front door after giving me the shot. Okay, I passed out. They had to call an ambulance. They took me to UNM. By ambulance, when I arrived at UNM and I'm being wheeled into UNM's ER department, they're more concerned about the watch on my wrist than they are me. Okay? I then get, a lot of runaround, which led to me leaving early because they were saying there was going to be another 6-hour wait, and I'd already been there 6 hours. And that was just for the supposed X-ray or MRI. That was the night of the big snowstorm you guys had in 2020. Okay? And my son was at home alone. So I was like, I can't sit here and wait for you guys for 6 hours, and my son is at home. So I said, can I come back tomorrow and have this done? That way he has somebody that can watch him, and I can get the MRI. So they said, sure, you can come back tomorrow, okay? They didn't agree to, me being a priority when I came back, but they naturally agreed to me coming back. So that was my second interaction with UNM ER department. The insurance company, the workers' comp insurance company, never allowed me to have any kind of treatment for my back. I can barely walk. Now, with all of this before this, I walk fine.
Right.
I was working a 12-hour shift at Tempur-pedic. Okay, and now I can barely stand for 30, I can't even, 30 minutes. I'm in, the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And then these people turn around. They didn't pay for me to get any kind of treatment. They didn't authorize for me to get any kind of treatment. No, nothing. They immediately, because they see all of my health issues, say that I don't know what we can do for you. Refer me out to a neurosurgeon. The neurosurgeon says, looks at my MRI and says, I don't see anything wrong with you. Now, I was in a car accident years ago. In the upper part of my back, right in here, I have a bulging disc. Okay?
He should have seen that.
Right, which he didn't. He claims that my entire spine looked fine. Then he says, well, you don't want to get surgery. And I said, no, if I can avoid it, I would prefer that. And then he says, well, I think, he said, did you ever get any kind of rehab, physical therapy? I said, no, nothing. And he was surprised. He was shocked because it was like, nothing? He was like, this entire time, you've not done anything with Concentra. And I said, no. So then, that was it. I was expected to have another doctor's appointment with at Concentra. And I did. And once again, she said, well, I think maybe we should try to get you in for physical therapy. But they claimed they needed an insurance company to authorize it. So I'm waiting around. Then I fall ill, and I wind up having to go to the hospital. No, I'm sorry. The attorney calls me about 2 days before I was due to go into where I got sick and had to go to the hospital. He calls me about 2 days before, I need you to go to Concentra, see the doctor. And I said, I don't understand. It was like, is this to set up physical therapy? He said, no, it's because of the insurance company. I need you to go see the doctor. So I call, and they say, well, we can't do anything because the insurance company hasn't authorized us to see you for anything. So I call him back, I inform him what happened, and he's insistent that I go see this doctor at Concentra. So I go back to Concentra, and I see this lady who I'd only seen once, and it was a very terrible experience. She's giving me this line about, it'd be best if you could go back to work in limited capacity, it'll look better and all this other stuff like that. And I don't care about it look better. I'm worried about my health. I can barely walk.
Exactly.
So she walks out. She said, okay, just go out and sign out with them up front. So I go up front, and they hand me the paperwork. And the paperwork says that I can return to work on limited duty. Okay? Restricted duty. So the next thing I know, the attorney calls me and tells me that they're cutting off my workers' comp benefits. Okay? Because I got sick 2 days later, wound up in Loveless, and started dialysis. And they turn around and cut my workers' comp benefits because they said that I couldn't go in. I'm a dialysis patient. I just started dialysis. You want me to come into your office, if that's even what you were trying to, the limited work you wanted me to do? You want me to come in your office and be a liability?
Right.
So they cut my benefits, okay, and now this attorney, I just had a call with him about last week, right before the holiday, and it's just a bunch of lies, one after another, because he didn't even want to talk about the setup that he was a part of, telling me out of the blue, I'm getting benefits, and then, oh, I need you to go in for no good reason.
Right.
It's not to get physical therapy. It's to go in to screw me out of my benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sits there and he's like, "Oh, Mr. Thomas, I assure you, that's not what you think is going on is not what's going on. My wife is black." That's your excuse?
What does that mean? So, what does that mean? So when you hear something like that, it's probably like, why would you say that out of the blue? Sorry, I'm laughing.
No. I mean, it's just how stupid it was.
Right, that's what I'm laughing at.
Right.
Like, out of the blue. Oh, it's not what you think. It's because my wife. What does that have to do with my case? My case is that I've lost workers' comp benefits. I've started dialysis. I can't work.
Mm-hmm.
I have pain in my back. What does that have to do with this case? It has nothing to do with that case.
Right. And I personally feel like this was an attempt orchestrated by the insurance company in order to make my health worse so that I would die and they wouldn't have to pay. That's what I feel this was. Because they have access to my medical records. So they went to take advantage of my health conditions.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
And then
and then, the experience I had at UNM, then the experience I had at Loveless, where they did all of that with my son, that has traumatized my son.
Mm-hmm.
So Liz, I'm having to deal with my son. At the same time I got to deal with this, I got to deal with my son. And he's like, I hate white people. His mother is Ukrainian, and he is talking about he hate white people.
And it's from what he's experienced and sees.
The doctor over at North Valley Clinic, her name is Megan Moorhead.
Mm-hmm.
She's been the only physician that has been trying to help me.
North Valley what?
The North Valley Medical Center Health Clinic right there on 4th. It's literally like across the street from my apartment.
Okay. Is she your primary care?
Yes.
Okay.
And she was upset because the people at the front office, they've been trying to play this game of trying to act like it's miscommunication, but not really communicating and keeping my appointments. They claim they set an appointment when I call or go over there, and then when I return, and all of a sudden, oh, that's the wrong appointment. I didn't have an appointment at all. So I just had a on altercation with them on Friday, this past Friday, because I finally got to see her. And this is after, coming out of the hospital, starting dialysis.
Okay.
And that's over a month.
Yep.
My primary care should have saw me within a week.
And on your discharge notes, it should have said in a week.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. And so she was upset, and like I said, she's great. It's nothing against her. Every time I've ever needed her for something, she was on it.
Good.
As long as I could talk to her and communicate to her what I needed, she was on it. And back at around the beginning of fall of 2020, in my apartment, they're not supposed to be smoking. It's stated in the lease. It's really bad for me. It's bad for my son or anyone else. I had complained about smoking at the apartment. Now, I have roughly a 500 square foot, 1-bedroom apartment. From the time I moved in July up to this very time that I complained about the smoking, my light bill was always $100. Nothing changed. No additional appliances of any kind, electronics that would, use a lot of electricity. My cooking habits did not change. And so my light bill had always been right around $100, a little less. Right after I complained, my light bill jumped to $400.
Holy mackerel.
P&M couldn't give me a reason for it.
Did they talk to you about the assistance program?
No. Okay. I had to find out about the assistance program from someone else. I went out and I videotaped and read the meters. You got apartments that are 2 and 3 bedroom, and I am 3 times what they're pulling.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
The amount of electricity that I'm supposedly pulling when I read the meter was 3 times that of a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment that has a family with kids. Okay? And I don't have any lamps. I just have the regular ceiling lights, and I have one TV, LED TV my son uses, and that's it. Other than the refrigerator, the stove, the microwave, that's it. So, I feel that they were targeting me.
Did you read the complaint?
Yeah, because the minute I made a complaint about smoking, and Dr. Moorhead gave me a letter that says, look, Mr. Thomas can't be in this environment. This needs to be dealt with and dealt with promptly. Oh, then all of a sudden the very next bill jumps to $400.
So did they change it to where, like the meters, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And then they didn't come out and check anything. They didn't do an audit, and then it's like, $400? You go from $100 to $400. And this is not even a cold month to even justify the heat.
Heater or air conditioner, vice
Right.
versa.
They did this in I think it was late September. And I'm not supposed to feel targeted in this situation. It's not a coincidence. I'm from a small town in North Carolina. I know small town politics. When I was a teenager, I witnessed a friend of mine that I went to school with be killed by some crooked police officers His name was Anthony Mason. He didn't even, that brother never carried a firearm in his life. If he gave him one, he wouldn't know what to do with it. He'd probably shoot himself with it.
Shoot his own foot off.
And they shot and killed him, shot him in his back and killed him. And then they tried to lie and say that they planted a gun and said that he had a gun. So I'm very familiar with small town politics and the racial element that exists. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. And I'm getting rid of this attorney, and I'm exposing it all. I'm sick of this.
I would feel exactly the same way you feel, given everything that you've been through.